minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Monday. On today's live stream, we're going to be making our citrus and champagne candle. So let's jump right into it. Let me go grab some wax so that we could prepare our wax to be melted and get this party going. So bear with me 1 second. Head over here. Let me grab our trusty coconut wax right here. See that? All right, I love using this wax because it's so easy to use. It's very bright, so whenever you pour it into the jar, it gives off a really white looking wax. And also it works well with the fragrance oil that we use, so they synergistically blend well to give off a good fragrance, at least when the candle is lit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh out the amount of wax that we need to make one of our citrus and champagne candles. So I grab this pouring pitcher here. I'm gonna get this scale, set it over here. So what we're looking for in this particular recipe is 271 grams of wax. So I'm gonna put the pouring pitcher on here, make sure that it tears out so that it goes back to zero, so we're not incorporating the weight of the pitcher in with the weight of the wax, because then we'll get a false reading and we'll have to redo this all over again because it'll mess up our candle. So now it's at zero. We're looking for 271 grams of coconut wax. You head over here, start to chop away at this guy. This is like one of my favorite parts because it's kind of like, you know, you're just cutting the wax and you're chilling. There's kind of a zen to it. It's really fun, actually. Just chop away at it, just like that. Easy peasy, like so. In the comment section, I wonder, what are some of your favorite candles? What are your favorite fragrances? What do you like about them? Also, where do you get your candles from? I'm curious. Katie and I, my wife and I, Katie, we had our farmer's market this past weekend, and we were in the city of Covina and also in the city of Upland. And let me tell you, people loved our candles. Not only did we get to meet and make new friends at these farmers markets, but we also sold a ton of candles and we got some amazing feedback. So I want to know, where do you get your candles from? Do you like soy candles? Do you like Target candles, Bath and Body Works? Where do you get your candles from? I'm curious. And maybe you're kind of frustrated with where you get your candles from. I want to know why, because hopefully I can answer that question for you. All right, we're at 200 grams right now, 203. We need to get to 271. Try and speed it up a little. But yeah, candle making is like my favorite thing to do. I recently stopped working at my local job, at my full-time job, to pursue this full-time. And it's been going great. We've really been blessed. God has been providing for us on a day-to-day basis. We got into our first store in Glendora, California, our first wholesale candle account. We're super excited about that. We're super excited about the upcoming farmers markets that we're doing. We're really expanding and really growing our company. And it's awesome because it's something that we wanted to build for our future family, so that whenever we have kids, we could train them how to do it, and then they could grow up bigger and it could live on beyond us and also provide a good living for us. So far, so good. God has blessed us. All right, so we've reached 271 grams, which means we're done with the wax because we've already reached our limit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in the corner. Bear with me 1 second. Alrighty. Here we go. And I don't know if you can hear it, but I do apologize about the yard work that's going on outside. I don't know if the camera could pick it up, but yeah, they're doing some work outside, which is fine. No big deal. It just comes with having a home-based business, so no problem. So we got our wax here. Bam. So let's just jump ahead and get it out of the way and measure our fragrance oil so we don't have to do it later and we're scrambling all over the place. It gives it more of a, it'll just remove some of these items here so that we can function better later. So what we do is we got this glass champagne jar, which we're gonna measure our fragrance oil in. But first we gotta tear out the weight of the glass. Awesome, it's back at 0. Then we get our mimosa fragrance oil. Man, I love it. So for this formula, we need 41 grams of mimosa oil. So there we go. 35. That should be about right. 40. So when I'm 1 gram off, I like to just get one of these little eyedroppers and just grab 1 gram like that. We like to get it perfect because we've done so much testing that we've really narrowed down the formula for this one. All right, so we got our fragrance oil poured, ready to go. So I'm gonna set this aside. Meanwhile, I'm gonna head over to our stovetop here, prepare the, excuse me, prepare the pot so that we could go ahead and melt this wax up. You can see it in there. All right, I'm gonna shift the camera over so you guys get a better look. Bear with me 1 minute. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Sorry about the lighting back there. All right, so we got our pot right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on the flame to a low heat. Very low heat. Let me point this away so you guys aren't getting blinded by the light. Cool, so we got this going there. We're ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and put the pitcher in there, and we're gonna let the wax melt. We're gonna let the max welt. Yeah. Stupid. All right, here we go. Put this right in here. Good to go. We're gonna give it about, I'd say about 10 minutes. No more than 10 minutes to really melt and get liquefied. So we'll go ahead and leave this here. We got our trusty paper towel handy so we can put our stir stick on there so the wax doesn't get on our countertop and make a mess. So while that's going down, we're gonna head over here back to our workstation. Dun, dun, dun. Right here. Okay. All right. So we got our fragrance oil poured. We're pretty much done with our scale, so we can set that aside. Next thing that we have to do is set up our wick in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our CD4 wicks, which are right here. You can see those right there. We're gonna get these wicks. We're gonna put a sticker on them, and then we're gonna center them here and prepare our jar to be poured. So see here, the reason we use these wicks is because the gauge is smaller than some other ones. That way, whenever the candle is burning, I know sometimes you'll get a candle and the wax will sort of just melt straight down and it won't create a full melt pool so all the wax evenly melts down. We use 2 because the diameter of this vessel is pretty wide, and in order for us to get an even melt pool and the wax to melt down evenly, we need to use 2 small wicks. We could use 1, but the wax will just melt. There'll be a lot of black soot, a lot of smoke. So what we figured out is when we use 2 smaller gauged wicks, the wax actually melts down slower, giving off more fragrance as it's lit. And it has an even melt pool, so you're not wasting any of the wax. So that was all discovered through trials and errors and testing, and it took a long time, but we really figured it out, and I'm really proud that we did that. Sorry, stuff in my throat or something. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our wick stickers here. We're gonna go ahead, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get these guys and we're gonna stick them on here. Like this, take it off. And then we're gonna, oops. We're gonna get the sticky end, put it right on the base there. And then we're just gonna remove the bottom part. Cool. And then this is where we're gonna have to find the center there. Let me go ahead and set it in here. Just make sure it's in the center. Okay. So let me grab a trusty cotter pin. This guy right here. This is a cotter pin. This holds the wick in place. I like to push down the sticker to make sure it's really sticking to the bottom there. Alrighty. Cool. Now let's do this second one here. So what I do is I peel it off like that. get this guy, stick it right on there, and then I peel off the bottom part. Sometimes this could be tricky because it's like just getting the back of the sticker off. There we go. Okay. And then we put it right on the bottom here. And then we push down with a cotter pin to make sure it's really stuck to the bottom. Just like that. See that? Push down with one of these so that it's really stuck on there. Make sure. Okay. Then we get this guy. And I like to slip my finger in it so it just opens up a little bit. And then I stick the top of the wicks through it, thread the needle, and then I separate them to the correct spots so that they are perfectly in the center and have the equal distance from each end. Cool. So it'll look just like that in the center. Now that these are ready and in place, we can pour the wax into there and have the wicks directly in the center, equal distance apart and equal distance from the jar, so that when it's lit, both of the wicks light down evenly and the wax creates a full pool from end to end. That makes all the difference, and that's what makes a high quality luxury candle. Making sure that you got your formula correct. And I tell you, it's taken a lot of time and a lot of testing to really perfect that. Cool. All right. There we go. Clear some of this workplace here. Put these wick stickers back into the bag. I wonder, what are some of your favorite candles? If you haven't shared already, if you're new to the live stream, welcome. We do everything candle making here. If you want to get into candle making, we have a candle making Facebook group that'll be in the description box on our YouTube channel. If you want to follow us on Instagram, our IG is @DradyCo, @DradyCo. If you want to purchase any one of our candles, it's drady.com. Make sure that you use promo code CandleFanatic. You'll get 10% off your entire order. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about candles, like what do I look for in a good candle, we'd love to answer those questions for you. So you could drop them in the comment section or just message us privately. We're just looking to expand the community, grow the community, and just help spread candle awareness so that people know what they're buying and know the difference between a Target candle and maybe an Anthropologie candle. I know when I went to Anthropologie and I saw for the first time candles that were like $80, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, dang, that is just so overpriced. But then as I got into the industry and I really dug deep and I really tried their candles, I understood the importance of having a high quality candle and getting the most out of it. Some candles you'll buy for like $10 and they won't even last. You won't even smell it. They'll crater, they'll have sinkholes, they'll just look really aesthetically ugly. Like, that's the difference between a high quality candle and a $10 candle that you would get from like a Kohl's or a, I don't know, not to badmouth anybody, but that's just the difference between the higher price candles and lower price candles. So let's head over here. Let's check on our wax to see how it's going, see what it's looking like. All right. All right, it's melting pretty good, As you can see, let me give it a little stir. Meanwhile, let me move this camera over here. Sorry about all this movement. All right, as we got over here, let's give it a little stir. I really like doing this because it's really zen. There's really something very zen about this. In order to, just kidding, it's not hot. All right, just so you guys can see my face while I do this. All right. It's melting really nice, actually. And one thing that I notice about coconut wax candles is that they smell really good even without fragrance. Like, it just smells very fresh and very tropical. And it's super subtle, so you really won't get it inside of your candle that you like. Maybe you really won't tell the difference from wax and soy when you actually light it. But when you melt it, you could really smell the difference. And it's pretty cool. So just get a little light into the room, you know. Alrighty. So I wonder, what are some of your favorite candles? Where do you get them from? Those are the questions of the day. Why do you like them? And what don't you like about them? All right. So just to give you guys a brief overview of why we started this candle company. So back in 2017, Katie and I was a student, she was a full-time nanny, and we weren't really making much money. We had just started dating. I have a huge family. She has a pretty big family, and we really wanted to get everybody in our family a gift for Christmas, but we really couldn't afford it. So Katie's really good at DIY projects, really hand-poured stuff, hand-making stuff, crafting things. I'm really good at figuring out costs and marketing and business aspects of stuff like that. So we put our heads together and we're thinking, all right, what can we do that's very affordable, that we can make from home, that our family will appreciate on Christmas? So our first initial thing that we put together was soap. So we got all the supplies for soap. We started making a whole bunch of bars, and then on Christmas time, we gave them out to everyone in our family, so everybody got one. After that, people started asking us, hey, do you have any more of that soap? We really love this soap. So we were like, yeah, sure. We actually sell it. So because we're getting so many requests, we decided to create a company out of it, which is Dradyco, which is Drew. My name is Drew, and her name is Katie, and put together is Drady. So we started making soap, and people were buying it. People were loving it. We're getting great feedback. Then somewhere down the line, somebody asked us if we made candles. And me and Katie looked at each other and said, now we do. So we put our heads together, did a whole bunch of research, and started making candles. And people started buying them. They started loving them. And then maybe a couple years went by. Then I proposed to Katie in December, and then in 2019. And at that point, we were really focusing on getting married, putting our wedding together, getting all this stuff together to move in finally and live a married life. So January came, February came, really planning our wedding, focusing on that. Then March came and COVID hit. Then we were like, oh my gosh, this is putting a strain on everything. So not only were we really impacted by COVID for our wedding, we kind of paused our business. So we really paused our business, said, let's focus on the wedding. We got a lot of things going on. So we ended up getting married July 11th. We moved into our house together, got a whole bunch of brand new furniture, and we were really excited and ready to create our life together. And we started to think as far as the future, like, what do we want to build for our family? What do we want to build for our kids? So that when they get older, they have something to build upon and create, and so on and so on. So we remembered, hey, remember that company that we started a couple years ago that we put on pause? Why don't we relaunch that and really focus on it and give it our all so that we could build this for our future family? So what we did was moved all of our new furniture out, got all of it, put it in storage, and started bringing a bunch of candle supplies and candle making materials, candle jars, candle lids, and pretty much turned our entire house into a candle making factory. It's a small sacrifice that we're paying for now, but it'll definitely benefit us in the future, and it's continue to grow. And that's our story. We're just continuing to do farmers markets, online sales. We're doing YouTube videos. We're doing live feeds. We're just continuing to focus and put all of our time and all of our effort into this. And now we're slowly starting to see the fruits of our labor, and we're really blessed and excited. And we want to thank every one of you who's supported us. So yeah, that's our story in a nutshell. We're excited to get to do more farmers markets in the next couple weeks. We're excited to fulfill our online orders. We're getting a lot of online orders, and we just got into our first retail store where they carry our candles and our candle making starter kit. And that's located in Glendora. So we're really starting to build up that snowball, and it's starting to roll down the hill and get bigger and bigger. So we're excited for the future. So let's check on our pouring pitcher before it's too late. And thank you for hearing me out. All right, so we're almost there. I say a couple more minutes and then it'll be ready to go. Let me check the temperature on this bad boy real quick. Meanwhile, I'm still in school, full-time right now, taking 19 units a semester. I'll be graduating in April with my bachelor's in ministerial leadership, and I'll be starting at Fuller Seminary in the month of June, pursuing my master's in divinity. That's a 3-year program, so while I'm working on the business, I'm also working on schoolwork and ministry stuff, and just trying to, you know, keep a balance between all that. But, you know, been blessed to be able to do that, and yeah, it's been fun. All right, we're at 187 right now, which is pretty predictable. That's what I thought it was. Okay, this guy is all melted and ready to go, so I'm going to take it out, bring it over to this side. I'm going to get going. Here we go. Here we go. Bear with me 1 second. I'll move you over in just a sec. Alrighty. Bring you over here. Cool. There we go. All right, so it's pretty hot right now. So what we're waiting for is to when the right time is to mix the fragrance oil that we poured earlier, right? So the sweet spot for that is anywhere between 180 and 185 degrees. Reason being is if it's over 185, it has the potential to burn the fragrance oil. This would mean that whenever we mix it together and then we let it cure for a couple days and then you light it, there will be no fragrance release because the wax would have burned through the fragrance oil. So the reason we do 180 to 185 is that is a sweet spot to where you'll get the most out of your fragrance oil without it burning, and it'll combine with the wax evenly so you get an even fragrance distribution throughout all of the wax and not just towards the top, towards the bottom, or towards the middle. So 180 to 185 is what we discovered to be the sweet spot. So let me go ahead and turn off the stove before it blows up on me. There we go. We're all good to go. And let me check this here. It's at 185 degrees. I'll show you right now. 185. So we'll give it just maybe 1 minute or so, and then we'll mix the fragrance oil. Though keep in mind that when it's off of the pot and it's in a new environment, because from this area to this area, the temperature has drastically changed and lowered and dropped. So it's gonna cool quicker. It's gonna cool pretty fast. That's why I say give it a minute to drop 5 degrees, maybe even less than a minute, to be honest with you. Yeah, like right now it's 184, so it just dropped 1 degree. So we'll just get it to 183, just so it's right smack in the middle of 180 and 185. But yeah, we got our jar prepped, ready to receive the wax. So we just pour it in. We've already measured the exact amount that we would need for this. So it's super easy. Because we've tested it so many times and we've created a recipe book that's right in front of me where I can't mess this up. You would have to be really dumb to mess this up and really not pay attention to details. Here we go. 181. All right. So now it's about that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to stir as I pour. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this for about 2 minutes just to ensure that the fragrance oil bonds to the wax appropriately and evenly throughout all of the wax and not just a certain area. Let me get a new stir stick for this. Okay. There we go. So about 2 minutes you want to do this. Some say to do this for 1 to 2 minutes. I do it for 2 to 3 minutes, to be honest with you. Just because it may be a little bit overkill, but that's just the way I like to do it. And it's fun. My favorite part about making candles is probably this part and then pouring it into the vessel or the jar. So my least favorite part, can you guess, is definitely putting the wicks in the center of the jar. That's my least favorite part. But you know, what are you gonna do? Someone's gotta do it. It smells so good. I wish you could smell it. It's like a Sunday morning. You know, you're laying out by the pool. You got your board shorts or your bikini on and you're just catching some sun. with a drink in hand. For me, I don't drink alcohol, but I really like sparkling water, like a nice LaCroix or, you know, some lemonade, good old-fashioned lemonade. But this is our citrus and champagne fragrance. And if you want to smell it, if you want to try it out, you can buy it on our website, drady.com. Make sure you use promo code CandleFanatic. Alrighty, keep it going. It looks well bonded. I think it's good to go now. I think anything else would just be overkill. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little tap. I'm gonna clean off my hands really quick. And then check the temperature. It should be 160, 150. Yeah, it's 148. So and then I'm gonna go ahead and pour it in here. Some people ask me, do you pour it slow? Do you pour it fast? And I'm just like, no, you just pour it in, man. You don't overthink it. And there you have it. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. All right. So I made some of these earlier just so that you guys could get a better look, like to see how the process goes. So this is one that I made about an hour ago. So you can see the wicks in there still. It's dried up, and you can see the surface, how it's a little bumpy and rough. It's not like evenly flush to the edges. All I'll do is, matter of fact, let me do that real quick. So let me move this out of the way. You get this guy right here, right? Give me 1 second, you guys, I'm sorry. I was not planning on doing this, but I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. All right. Where did I put my heat gun? I totally forgot where I put it. I gotta put it over here. Yep, here it is. So I'll get my trusty heat gun right here. See this guy? Plug this bad boy in. Right over here. What I'll do is, what did I do with that? All right. I think my scissors are in my garage, so unfortunately, I probably won't be able to do it. I could have sworn I brought them in though. Oh well. So I could do it without. So what I'll do is I'll take this off right here, and then I'll get this heat gun right here. Because you saw earlier how it was all distorted and it's kind of not flush to the edge. See that? You see how it's like different levels on the corners? It's not like beautiful, you know? It's like, so what I'll do is I'll hit it with the heat gun. Just like this. To make sure it gets to a full melt pool. So what this does is the surface of the wax will become a pool of wax and fragrance oil, and it'll be evenly distributed across, and it'll adhere to the end of the jar, and it'll make the top of the candle look prestigious, look luxurious, and look very clean and ready to be sold. Next thing I would have to do is trim the wick to 1/4 inch, put a label on it, put a warning label on the bottom, and then let it cure for a couple days, and then it's ready to be sold and ready to be lit. And that's how you make a candle. Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you so much. See you next time.